Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special Monday edition of Speak Your Mind with host Larry Cox. It is an honor to be coming on Monday evening. It's campaign season. We have candidates that want to come on. They want their voices heard. They want their messages out there because they're fighting for your vote. And we are glad to be able to help bring the candidates on so they can come on and just tell you guys what they're about and why you should vote for them. Tonight, we have a very special guest. We have Dr. Heavenly Kimes running for the 13th Congressional District here in Georgia. And without any delay, we are going to actually bring Dr. Kimes on. Welcome, Dr. Kimes.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for coming on the show this evening, and
hmm
we're gonna get to hear your vision of the 13th district and
hmm
why you're running for office. So it's
hmm
great to have you here. So Dr. Combs, why don't you just briefly just tell people who you are and what you're running for?
Yeah, my name is Dr. Heavenly Kimes. I have actually lived in this district for over 25 years. I live in Rockdale County, and I've actually been practicing dentistry for over 25 years right here. And I've had a practice in every county in this district. It's like this is my district. I see the patients. I've been serving this district for a long time, and it's more than just my patients. They're my family here. So I'm running for Congress District 13, and what it includes is South Gwinnett, which is Lawrenceville, Lilburn, Grayson, and Loganville, and then all of Rockdale County, then a part of Henry County. We got Clayton County, a little piece of DeKalb, and a little piece of Newton County as well. So it's David Scott's old seat.
Yep, yeah, Congressman Scott, and who just passed away here 2 weeks ago. So
Yes, sir.
so now it's not only he was running for a reelection, and now it's actually a true open seat. So
Yes.
so that was a game changer in this district race when Congressman Scott passed away 2 weeks ago. So
Yep.
you had mentioned practicing and being here in Rockdale for 25 years. So as a lot of us that live here in Rockdale County, myself included,
Mm-hmm.
we come from somewhere else to come to Rockdale County.
Mm-hmm.
I came from the foothills of West Virginia myself, so I moved here back in 2003. Took a job with a construction firm here in Georgia, and I have been in Georgia since 2003, Rockdale since 2005. So why don't you tell us where you were born and your early life, Dr. Cobbs?
Yeah, absolutely. I was born in Miami, Florida. My dad was in the service. He actually was in Heidelberg, Germany when I when I was born. No, he actually lived in Heidelberg, Germany after I was born. When I was born, he was in the Vietnam War because I was born in the 70s. He was in the Vietnam War, and he actually died of Agent Orange. He was a veteran. We lived in Miami originally, and then I was an Army brat. So we lived all over. I lived in Colorado, Fort McClellan, Colorado. I lived in Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland. We moved to uh, Colorado Springs, Fort Carson, Colorado. So I was an Army black. We moved all around. And when I was in junior high, we moved back to Miami, and I graduated there from a high school there. And I graduated with honors. I was always very, very smart, got straight A's in school. And I graduated. I was vice president of student government. I remember that, just really involved. Fun fact, I was in the chess club, so I played chess. But my early years, I'm gonna tell you, part of the time we were on Title One, I did get the free lunch. We stayed what we call Overtown in Miami. Those were the inner city schools, and we got a Title One lunch. And my mom, I remember her. She used to work in the laundry, and she used to press clothes. And then she got an opportunity when they actually had a program where they would do free childcare, and they paid for her to go back to school. And she became a nurse off of that. I remember, just the opportunity just made me just feel like our people just need an opportunity. They're just looking for not a handout but just a fighting chance.
Yeah, I get that 100%. I mean, I grew up in poverty in the mountains of West Virginia, and I think that's a lot of people don't understand that. When people grow up in poverty, they understand it, and they fight to get out of poverty. And
Absolutely.
and I want to welcome. Let me welcome some people who've joined the show tonight. We got
Okay.
George Killichek. We got Miss Sherry Thomas, who is a retired educator. Gail Owens, business owner here in Rockdale County. Cheryl Moulton, she actually is a small business owner. And then we have William Campbell, and I want to mention William Campbell was also a Vietnam veteran, and he served in Vietnam in the Marine Corps. So I just
Okay.
want to recognize Bill, since you recognized your father as a Vietnam veteran also. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Bill also served in Vietnam. So
Okay.
recognize those individuals. So guys, share, like the show. Let's get Dr. Combs a nice audience, so that people will share and like the show later on and watch the recording of this show. So Dr. Combs, so you graduated high school, and then you went to college.
I
Where'd you go to
graduated at the
college?
top of my class, and then I got a scholarship. I don't know if I would have went to college. Well, I probably would have, but I got a scholarship, an Army ROTC scholarship. So I was in Army ROTC, and then I got presidential scholars for room and board. So my college years were completely free. I went to Florida A&M University, and I graduated there with honors. And then I decided to go to dental school. My major was pre-med initially. My major was biology with a minor in science and military science. So I matriculated through FAMU, and then there was a recruiter that came in and he talked to me about dental school because my major was medicine, and he told me how I could set my own hours, and I was always artistic, and I did a summer program at Meharry, and I enjoyed dentistry so much, and plus the kick to it was I didn't have to do a long residency, and I always wanted to be a wife and a mother, so so I went to Meharry, and that's where it was instilled in us to learn to serve the underserved. Me and my husband actually came out of medical school both in a lot of debt, meaning $250,000 each. So that's why I understand student loans, the debts, capping the interest rates, making sure we got repayment programs, and actually capping the prices that they can charge in private institutions for higher learning. But yeah, I met my husband there. I gave him three children. When we were in school, I did get pregnant. And I was on the WIC. I got the food stamps, the WIC, and I didn't feel like it was a handout, it's a lift up, but I feel like now with things are going on, I look at patients right now and people are struggling. And it's not because they're bad people, not because it's just that our people are having a real hard time. And I think that either they don't know or don't care, about the people in District 13 because they're really struggling with healthcare. That's my main platform, healthcare. I understand it better than none other. And when I look at the Georgia pathway system, the Medicaid system, it's actually designed to kick people off. It's very difficult to maneuver Medicaid, and if you're over 18, the Peach Care for Kids take care of the kids. If you're over 18 and under 65, a lot of times people fall in the gap, especially if they have a problem, meaning they epileptic or they are autistic or they have mental health challenges because, with the big beautiful bill, it's required that they keep 80 hours a month, working. And I'm all for people working. Don't get me wrong. I'm a business owner. I'm a small business owner. So I see both sides of it. But some people need help. And I just think that certain things can't be covered with a blanket. It actually has to be individualized.
Well, when you mentioned that about the 13th, our district being a forgotten and
Yeah.
ignored, you're a Rockdale County resident, so you're very much aware of BioLab and
Yes.
that impact. I mean, I had a business right across the road from BioLab, so
Mm-hmm.
we were displaced, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is what bothered me about that whole situation, Dr. Combs. Probably, I've talked to environmentalists. One of probably the worst chemical environmental hazardous events that have happened in the United States, and not one major politician came to Rockdale County.
Nope. None.
None, not
Right.
one. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it was probably one of the top five
Mm-hmm.
worst biohazardous disasters to have happened in this country, and it was totally ignored.
And
And
Larry, I
and
didn't
and
even
that's a
know there was a
shame.
biolab here. I didn't even know it was a biolab here, 5 miles away from where I live. I didn't know there was a biolab until that
Uh,
happened.
Dr. Combs, it was 250 feet across the road from me.
Oh wow. Wow, wow, wow.
250 feet across the road. So I mean, so yeah, I mean, and and the fact that we lived, that our community had this type of event go on and were ignored, it goes to exactly what you said. The 13th district had, and whether it was the 4th or the 13th, our district hasn't been represented actually for over a decade.
I agree. I agree.
We've had people elected to the office to represent us, but we've not had what I refer to as that boots on the ground, and a representative that actually would 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 be here for us. And I think,
Mhm.
don't you think that's what this district is yearning for? As you've been
Absolutely.
out
And
there,
that's why I'm running for Congress. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of complaining. And I noticed that the people were running were politics as usual. They're not in the district, meaning they're in certain areas of the district, but nobody's going down to Clayton County. Nobody's coming down here to Rockdale to see what's going on. And I've been in these streets. I've been in this district, and I know a lot of the people here. And I was thinking, like, who would be better? I have a platform, I have a voice. I'm a doctor. I understand insurance. I understand healthcare. I understand all of the things. And I'm uniquely qualified in a sense, I would say. And I'm not afraid to speak up and speak out on what's the right and wrong. And I think that we need politicians that are professionals, that are not speaking in theory, but actually seeing patients and seeing what they're struggling with. So, the whole thing about Congress, I think a lot of people are confused on actually what Congress does, but they're actually supposed to represent the people, meaning they're supposed to listen to the people, the seniors, do town halls and such. And just like with dentistry, I always like to compare it to dentistry. When you find the pain points, for example, with veterans, you find the pain points, they'll tell you exactly what the solutions are. They just need somebody to advocate for them. For example, when I was talking to the Veterans Administration, the guys say, there's over 480,000 veterans in the state of Georgia, many of them homeless, right? Many of them have mental health disparities, PTSD. And they're saying, you know what, there are vacant army bases here that they could use and use a little bit of money, transform them, maybe even put tiny homes on them. And they're acting like, veterans don't deserve that care when they actually, it's America's promise. It's not a handout. It's America's promise to the people that fought for us to be here today. So, I look at it as if our district was just underserved. It was not spoken of. We had no representation. And when I look at the people that were running, it was politics as usual, the same lies, the same things. And when I talk to people in the district, the older people say as soon as they get behind somebody, they leave them. Like they're on a stair step. They want a title. Like they go from, one area to the next level to the next level. It's like a stair step. But when they get to Congress and they go to Washington, they don't see their people anymore. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna be real and relatable. I'm, what I like to call diverse, meaning that I can hang out with Michelle Obama, but I can talk to Mama D as well, somebody's grandmama. So I'm very versatile and people know me in this district. And I love them. They love me. I've been practicing and actually serving this district for a long time. And I think I'm the best person for the job.
I agree with that. What you say is you elect them and they go away. I remember in 2006 when Hank Johnson ran in the 4th district, he came to our church.
Yes.
I never seen Hank Johnson again after that time he came to our church.
Yeah, I'm
I,
different. I'm
I,
gonna come because I know what it is. I've seen it. I've seen us being misrepresented, or not represented at all. So I'm
I,
committed to being here.
and I think maybe last year, uh, um, uh, Congressman Scott was here in the district maybe one time to an event, and it was and I it was but no, he was when they
Not present.
redistrict, not present at all. And we've had two congressmen in a row that were like that. So, and we go back to 2007 when Hank Johnson was our congressman when this was the 4th, and then we transitioned to the 13th, and I think people were hoping it was going to be different, and it was. I'll tell you, I'm not certain if it didn't get worse. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, but I think it did, and I don't think the people of this district were content at all, and I think they like seeing new people running for this, and there being an opportunity for actually representation uh, to occur in. So you mentioned the healthcare stuff that you would like to do as
Absolutely.
a
Absolutely.
congressperson. So besides healthcare, Dr. Combs, what else do you think? What have you heard from the constituents in this district that they would like to see from their congressman?
Oh, absolutely. Affordability. People are struggling right now financially. Our people are having a hard time. They did not expand the SNAP benefits. A lot of people are having a hard time because the groceries are so high. And with gas and the wars and the rumors of wars over there in the Middle East, the gas is high. So of course the food is high. The meat has gone up almost 100%, Larry. I know gas is up 20 to 30%. People are
Uh,
struggling.
Dr.
They're
Combs, I think it's gone up more than that. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, ground beef was $2.99. It's $7.99, $8.99 a
Yeah,
pound now.
it's gone up 100% within the last couple of years, though. Like if you go try to get some eggs are high, meaning that milk is high. People are struggling. And I didn't realize that minimum wage is still $5.15 in Georgia. $5.15. We got to increase that minimum wage. That is not a livable wage. And then you also have the issues that people are talking about. Big corporations, hedge funds are coming buying up the properties here and then renting them out at a higher price that the people can't afford to live where they work. We have to put taxes on the people that are buying these homes that don't live here, that are not going to live in these homes. We got to make it more difficult for them to buy homes here, because I think the number one way to build wealth is home ownership, and it's getting more difficult right now. I think the average age is 41, 42 to buy a home, and that's a travesty. I mean, if we go out of get out of college, it used to be, and there still are, home loans and home programs. The issue is a lot of people don't know about them, and a lot of them are, if you what you want to call, red line to certain areas, meaning that African Americans can only get homes with the down payment assistance if they live in certain areas. And a lot of people don't want to live in the area, but my advice to them is to get the house. If they give you down payment assistance, get the house, stay there for a few years, then pull out the equity, keep the house, rent it out, and build wealth that way. But yeah, the main problems here is people saying home ownership, of course, infrastructure. When I go down to Jonesboro, their main thing is that jet fuel tax. They feel like they're not being compensated for the airport that's there. They feel like they're dealing with the hustle and bustle of the traffic, the toxins in the air, and they're saying that jet fuel tax. And there are some creative solutions to that. I've been in the community creative solutions. If you charge the people, there are millions of people that go through that airport every month, every month. If you charge them a dime, something nominal that they wouldn't even miss, and it's 9 million people that go through the airport every month, that 900,000 a month can actually solve some things. Really, most things, Larry, can be solved by money. If you look at, like, for example, the healthcare, and I always go back to that because that's my meat and bones, right? A dental abscess, periodontal a routine cleaning may cost you max $300. But once you get periodontal disease and you have bacterias in your heart and your blood vessels get blockages, that stroke is going to cost you $50,000. You understand what I'm saying? So it's, I would say, crisis is prevention is always better than crisis, because crisis is so expensive. And if you allow me to elaborate, when I actually started going in and looking in the district, and when I saw, our young boys being put in correctional institutions, I went to DeKalb County and I saw that, the people there are telling me, the people that work there, they were saying up to 70% of our African American boys in correctional institutions have mental health challenges. I walk through the correctional institutions and they're not equipped to handle those kind of things. And that's easily solved by just getting some crisis centers. The crisis centers beds are too full. This ain't rocket science. And people come to me and they say, Heavenly, you don't have political experience. No, I have real world experience. I run multi-million dollar businesses. I've had a practice in every county. I've done the payroll and balanced budgets by myself. It does not take a rocket science to see that a dental abscess is cheaper than a stroke, or it's cheaper to understand that a cleaning is cheaper, or putting your patient in a crisis center and actually paying for that bed rather than keeping them in a correctional institution, waiting 2 to 4 years for trial. And then when they're actually put in jail or get their sentencing, it's a wraparound because you're not solved the problem, which is the mental health. It's so many issues here, Larry, that I think that either people don't know, They don't show it. They don't care. And I think that it takes someone like me to care. You
Well,
know.
and you're right, and I've talked about this a lot and mentioned it. It's how can dental health and vision health not be part of health? You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean,
And mental health too. Mental
well,
health
no,
too.
100% mental health. I
Hmm.
mean, but when we're talking about, and you're right with the dental health, that poor dental health can, you're right, it impacts the whole body, right? So dental health needs to be part of a healthcare package.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
100% does. And then when you talk about the prison situation, I know I have a lot of experience with that, Dr. Combs. I did prison ministry for 14 years.
Oh,
So
okay.
I firsthand witnessed what you're talking about with mental illness and the disparity of what goes on in the criminal justice system. So I have firsthand witnessed the lack in the criminal justice system,
I
and
want to tell you how I found out about it. I'm gonna tell you how I found out about it. My son had a mental health emergency, right? We didn't know, as a dentist and my husband is a physician, we didn't know to dial 988. We did not know what to do. But what happened was, because we had good insurance, they took my son, he was over 21, so they wouldn't give us any information with HIPAA. They maxed out his insurance. But my thought process, if he wasn't my son, he would still be waiting right now for trial, because they're there for 2 to 4 years with not getting the help they need. So it's actually exasperating. It's making it worse, the conditions worse. And I just feel like every life has value. I think that people have forgotten the people here that are struggling, people with autism, people with epilepsy, mental health challenges, all these things that I see every day. But get this is the worst for me: senior citizens who worked all their lives and did everything right, did everything like they were supposed to do. They worked, they did the 401k, they did the Social Security or whatever. And I'm seeing more of them going door to door, and patients as well. And my husband is a physician. They say they can't afford to live. They get $700 a month, right? To live on, right? And then their Medicare Advantage is $200 a month, right? Then they play games with them. They have like tier systems with Medicare Advantage, and they'll switch you over to a different plan. But then that plan might have a higher price on the prescription drugs. So not only you spending 200 or your 500 on medical, but then your diabetic medication may be another hundreds of dollars on top of that. It's not enough money. And I'm knocking on doors. I'm seeing patients every day that are crying because their loved ones are being unalive, meaning dying on preventable stuff. This is why I'm stepping up. People said I was crazy to run for Congress. They said it's a lot of stuff going on. You got a good practice, heavenly. You and your husband are comfortable. No, if I don't do it, who will do it? I'm telling you, the people on this ticket is politics as usual. They're lying about how they're getting their money. This it's a come up for them. It's a stair step, and it's so obvious. So I say, you know what? Washington does not need any more politicians. They got enough of those. They need healthcare professionals who actually see healthcare and see patients firsthand, because we as a healthcare professional, we have humanity on our heart, and we really care about the people. We care about our patients.
and I'm going to say, I had read a research paper about home ownership,
Hmm.
and it said if interest rates and the amount of down payments and home values kept going, that by 2030, home ownership would be out of reach for Americans.
Absolutely will be.
By
Because
2030, because you will not be, no one would be able to come up except for the rich
minimum
with a
wage is
with
five
a with
dollars
a
and
with a
fifteen
with
cents.
a with a down payment.
Right?
No one would be able to come up with a down pay that as 2030. And as you mentioned, these corporations buying up all these homes.
Hedge funds. Yeah.
Dr. Combs, I get 3, 4 phone calls a week, a dozen texts a week for people trying to buy my home.
Me too.
You know what? I'm not selling my home to any of these
Absolutely
scams, right?
not.
And
Mm.
but that's the deal, because they buy these homes and they are taking home ownership away. It is not part of the American dream anymore.
That's true. And the home ownership median age is about 41, 42 years old. There's something wrong with that. It's something wrong when things are going up triple, 10 times. And I always compare it because I used to work at McDonald's, Larry, and I used to be a crew chief at McDonald's. Back in the day, a fish fillet was, and I'm telling my age, was 48 cents. Right now, it's probably $4.80. It's about $5 for a fish fillet, right? Meaning minimum wage was 3.35 when I was there. Now it's 5.15. The food is going up 10 times and the minimum wage is going up what, twice? It's crazy and it doesn't make sense. And I just think that people in Congress, if they're Democrat or Republican, my whole thing is I don't think it's left or right. I think it's up and down. And I think that our people are at the bottom of it and nobody's speaking up or speaking out for our people. And I think that the whole thing in Congress, and that's why I'm always in DC, is building relationships. Building relationship with people that you can actually have conversation about what's going on. And those bills, and you get amendments to bills to make sure we bring resources. Meaning, Larry, we pay federal taxes every year. We pay our federal taxes, right? We need to bring those taxes back to the state, to our district, and make sure that money is working for us. I was in a state legislative meeting, and they were bragging about having surplus in this state, meaning like $61 million. I'm like, how are you bragging that you have a surplus when these kids down here have underfunded schools? I think they either don't know, don't show, or don't care. How can you have a surplus when these kids down here are hungry and there's not enough SNAP benefits? How can you have a surplus when hospitals are closing down because Medicare and Medicaid is not paying enough to be sustainable? And I just don't understand it. And I just feel like nobody's speaking up for our people. And I just have to do it. Somebody got to do it. And I'm not bought. You know what I'm saying? I'm unbought and unafraid to speak up for our people. And I don't think that I'm naive in a sense to think that I can make a change. I think I can.
So, Dr. Combs, I want to ask. So, we both talked earlier in the show
Yes, sir.
about the district being unrepresented and people
Mm-hmm.
not being present.
Mm-hmm.
If you're elected, how do you guarantee the constituents of the 13th that you're going to stay engaged, and how are you going to stay engaged with the
I'm already
citizens of?
engaged.
I mean, but
Let me tell you,
how are you going to stay engaged? Because
absolutely, absolutely.
our congressmen now get elected, go to DC, and we never see them. What are
That's
you
a
going to
great
do
question.
differently?
That's a great question. We're already doing it. Me and my husband have been doing the free COVID testing. I do free dental initiatives already. And you know how I know this district is struggling? Because my lines are getting longer, not shorter. When I did my free dental initiative, we do exam, x-rays, cleanings, and we do extractions to get people out of pain, palliative treatment. And every time I do, the line is getting longer and longer. I mean, the last one we did, they had people in lawn chairs sitting outside at 6 a.m. for an extraction, meaning they didn't have money to get their tooth pulled. So my whole thing is the things that we're doing, we're already doing it. But imagine what I could do if I had federal funds when we talk about job fairs, if we talk about health fairs, we talk about educating people on wealth building and how to get home ownership and those kind of things. I'm already doing it. I'm doing roundtable discussions with physicians on how we can correct this healthcare bill. The main thing they're saying is with Medicaid right now, it used to be you had a year to re-register. Now on the Georgia pathway system, you only have 6 months. And a lot of people don't even know it. And the worst thing about it is when I talk to constituents, because I'm talking to them firsthand as the patients and people in the community. I'm talking to them, and some of them don't have computers to even go on it. And that system is so difficult to maneuver, Larry, that some of my doctor friends have to pay somebody to actually walk their son that's 18 or 19 through if they have mental health challenges or autism. Pay somebody thousands of dollars to keep their kid on medicated Medicare. So if you're saying the physicians or the attorneys can't maneuver the system, how can somebody who doesn't read in certain areas of our district? Some people can't read. Some people don't have computers. And I will say too again, Larry, every life has value. All people are looking for is an opportunity. That's all, for a better life. Not just to get by, but live with dignity and the pursuit of happiness, meaning have a life of substance, not just get by. And I think that we can do that for all people. And Larry, I know I talk a lot, but I'm telling you, if they could find $2 billion a day for a war that was not approved, an illegal war in the sense that Congress did not approve it, And they found that after they couldn't afford the SNAP benefits, after they couldn't afford the mental health, and after they couldn't afford the women getting the maternal mortality rate is high. After they're not doing preventable things, but they found money for a war, which tells me further, Larry, that they have the money. It's just what they choose to do with it. And Congress holds the purse, controls the purse, supposedly.
Yeah, all spending bills must originate in Congress.
Supposedly.
All spending bills originate in Congress.
Supposedly.
No, it's not supposedly. They
I mean,
do.
supposedly, I mean, we had a war. It was not approved by Congress. A lot of things are going on right now that are not approved. And I think that people are afraid to speak up and speak out. Excuse me. That's not how it's supposed to be. Sometimes they just need one person to speak up and then other people will follow, you know? And I don't know why people, ask me, Heavenly, you are not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. I think that we should have somebody that speaks up for our people. Somebody got to say something. People are dying, Larry. This is serious. I'm seeing it every day. When I knock on phone, the people are crying saying their wife died from something preventable. Black women are dying 3 times more likely to die in childbirth from preventable stuff. Medicaid, it should be Medicaid for all. If you go to Canada right now, they got free health care for everybody. Why shouldn't America have Medicaid for all? Make the ACA permanent so we're not fighting about it every other year. You know what I'm saying? Give people a chance for a life. You know what I'm saying? The billionaires have enough money. We just asking for a little bit of it, not all of it. Give me some, and allow our people to live.
Oh, I get what you're saying, but I think we all have to understand nothing's free, right? Somebody's going to pay for it. So
Somebody can
so,
afford to pay for it, and
but
some
but
other people
but but
cannot.
but I think we all need to realize nothing's free.
I
And
think that certain people need help, and I think
no,
that
a
we're in a
hundred percent,
position
but hundred
in this
percent.
country to help them.
But we need to all get out of this mentality that it's free. Nothing's free. Everything
I
costs
think that
something,
people have suffered, bled, and died for a lot of things, and yes, we should have free health care. We should.
but it's not free healthcare. Somebody's going to pay for it.
Right. And I think that there are people that can afford to pay for it. Our federal dollars go to the government all the time, every year, federal dollars. It should be brought back to the communities that need it most. I mean, don't get me wrong now, Larry. I do believe people should work. I think that people should work. Yes, sir. But there are certain people that fall in the line that they're American citizens and they need help. And we're here to help them. I think that I would be willing. I'm already giving. You know what I'm saying? Giving a little bit. People can afford to give a little bit to get to the people that can't help themselves. Now, I'm not for a man that's not working and being sorry and just taking advantage of the system. No, I'm not for that. But we can't put a blanket over this system because there are certain people that I see every day that need help and cannot help themselves. Autism, epilepsy, mental health challenges, so many things. And and like I say, for me, I'm a doctor of dental surgery. I got pregnant. You know what I'm saying? I got pregnant out of wedlock, and my husband married me, but we needed help. And we needed a help. It wasn't a handout, it was a lift up. And for the veterans, it ain't even a handout. It's America's promise to them. It's America's promise. They should not, as senior citizens have done their work, they've done it all. And they've done everything right. And how they were told to do, they worked hard all their lives. How is it possible that they're supposed to live off of $500 a month when eggs are $5 a carton for a dozen? Milk
Oh,
is $5
no,
and 15 cents for a gallon.
I'm not saying it all. All these things. You're right.
Yeah.
It's costs are high. And people are struggling, right? And it's up to us to make sure that the conditions are favorable for people to be able to make a living and to be able to survive. And I do agree that it's not we don't give a hand out, we do a hand up, right? But this is the way I look at it. I grew up in poverty, right? I grew up. I had 2 pair of pants and 2 shirts, and I switched them in and out going to school. I was raised by a single mother when my father died when I was 6 years old,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was able to bring myself out of poverty to where I am a successful individual now, right?
And I will tell you this. I will tell you this, sir. You also are a white man. Be a black man and do the same. It's 10 times harder. I guarantee you that.
I have friends who are black men who have done the same thing.
They're done, but it's more difficult for a black man. They're being held down. I don't know if you know, and maybe your algorithm don't show you, but black people are always held down. I mean, we
Well,
don't we
and
don't get
I've
any.
noticed you've said the word "our people" a lot during the
Yes,
show.
yes, yeah.
Who are you
I'm saying
referring
it's
to?
not left or right, it's up and down. And I'm talking about the people that are on the lower level. And it just so happened to be African American people more so
Well, I
on the
want to
bottom
ask you a question about this area, right?
in this district.
This whole metropolitan area
Hmm.
it's a majority minority area.
Absolutely,
So the
yes.
majority of our elected officials are African American.
In this district it is, not in
Well,
the
not
state,
only
but yes.
this district, but in this metropolitan area,
I mean, yeah, we got Lucy
we're
Macbeth, we got Hank Johnson,
well,
we
not
got
only
what
that, you're talking
Sanford
about
Bishop.
all of
Hmm.
the majority of our mayors, our state representatives, our city councils in this whole
That's
area.
that's because we're represented and it's more black people here. Absolutely.
Correct. So
But the governor is what?
yes, the governor's a white guy,
Yeah.
but local government is where everything happens,
But
right?
they have to get the money from the state. And you know that, Larry. You know,
Well,
if they got a budget in there,
you do get money from the state, right?
not enough. These schools are
But
underfunded, Larry.
you know what, Heavenly,
Okay.
I know what you're saying, but I just think you're too race oriented.
No,
Uh,
no, no. No, no, no. I'm not.
I mean, I'm just telling you. I mean,
I'm saying it's more difficult for a black man to make it than a white man. That's just facts. It's not race oriented. It's
I
facts.
mean, so I'm in an area that is the majority minority,
Hmm.
and and do you think I have an advantage
Absolutely, you do. Yes.
being a minority in a minority
You have
area?
an advantage being a white man. Yes, you do. And I think that if you don't know that, then we might need to open the door and see, because you do. Ask around. I don't know
Well,
who
I mean,
your audience is. I don't.
I know what you're saying,
And I
right?
ain't
But
arguing. I'm just saying these are facts. I know these to be facts.
I
And
hear
that's
you.
why they came up with DEI. Not that we were, because to be in DEI, you had to be the best of the best. But it was designed to correct the imbalance because we were not getting the opportunities. They were actually shutting us out for the opportunities that you could get in that we could not, just because of the
Lord
color of
have
our skin.
mercy. I'll tell you what, Dr. Combs, I just don't agree with a lot of that you're
Okay.
saying. And I'm just telling you, I mean, I just can't because I think we're taking race relations backwards
Okay.
when we start this conversation this
So
way.
you're saying that black people have the same advantage that you do. Like you got less advantage. And
I'm
I
not
ain't gonna even
saying
go
that I
into it.
got
But
less
what I'm
advantage
saying
or
to you
anything.
as a white man, you think that it's the same level for a black man to make it and be successful in this country.
I think it depends on what area of the country you're from. I think in an area that is majority minority black, if you should have an advantage being in an area that's majority African American.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I think that maybe your algorithm is wrong on social media. The black people have always been pushed down and had a harder time. And I know you haven't experienced it, and I can't blame you for that. But African Americans have had a hard time. You cannot compare the two. Coming from a perspective. But again, I will say it's not about left and right, it's about top and bottom at the end of the day. I don't think it's Democrat and Republican. I think that it's top and bottom. I am a business owner, so I understand both sides of it, but I do think that certain people need help. And I'm talking about black, white, purple, green,
I'm going to ask
orange.
you. I'm going to ask you a question. This is a hard question.
Anything.
Are you going to represent white people?
Absolutely. I'm going to represent everybody in District 13. It just so happened that most of them are African American here. You know what I'm saying?
I
But yeah,
mean,
there are some white people that are struggling.
of course they are.
If I increase SNAP benefits, don't you think everybody's going to increase?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
Absolutely.
but I'm just going to tell you, right? When you make that comment and you say our people and this and you're being with the way you speak, right? You are you are leaving out white people in your
No,
campaign.
sir.
Whether
No,
you
sir.
realize it or not, white people look at it that way.
I mean, maybe you look at it that way, but that's not what I'm saying. Because when I say left and right, I'm talking about up and down. I'm talking about our people that have been under that has don't have the advantage of people that are rich. But then we cannot say that we are on an equal playing field. We're just not, sir. I just can't say that we're not. But what I'm saying is, I'm for all people in District 13. This is a very diverse district, meaning we
This
have
this
Latino,
this is
we
a
have
very
we have we
diverse
have
district.
Caribbean people here, we have Asian people here. I'm for all people. I'm a healthcare provider. I'm always for humanity. But the people here are struggling. They're struggling. They are, Larry.
100%. I don't say they're not struggling, but everybody's struggling.
Yes, no
I
doubt,
mean,
no doubt.
everybody in Rockdale County is
That
struggling, and
that
and
wasn't
and
the
and it's
issue.
and it's and it's not a racial divide.
No, no, no. I
They
didn't
are
racially
struggling.
divide it. What I was saying is that you had more of an advantage than an African American man. That's facts. But I'm saying I'm here for everybody. But I'm not trying to offend you or anything. I'm just saying what I know to
No,
be
I
true.
mean, I'm just saying, Dr. Collins, whether you realize it or not, it comes across that way.
Well, I apologize. I said it's not left and right, it's up and down. But
I
yeah, I
know, but
mean, I
whether you
feel like
realize it or not, when you make those comments and those statements that way,
when I make factual statements,
it comes across that way.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, I will make it a factual statement. When you say you struggle, I'm saying it's
Well,
harder
well,
for.
well, like I said, I think if someone comes from poverty, whether you're black or white, or Asian or Indian or Hispanic, and you're able to bring yourself out of that, you deserve the fact that you were able to do it as an individual. And I've known people who have come from across all racial divides who have been able to do that. So,
Okay.
so
I guess we're missing. I agree with you 100%. I think the only place we're disconnecting on is that it may be a little bit different from people that don't look like you. More difficult based on
I have grandchildren.
society.
I have grandchildren that are mixed, right?
Okay.
So I mean, I'm not blind to
Good.
to this stuff,
Then
Doctor
I'm
Khan.
speaking facts. No
Yeah,
reason
yeah.
to
No,
even
no,
question.
but I'm just telling you. I don't know how you're. To me, it doesn't come across well, right? It just
Okay.
doesn't come across well as a voter. Just so you know, right?
Okay, I'm telling you that, listen, sir, I'm telling you that when we talk about like the struggle's not the same. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be, left or right or up or down. I'm just saying the struggle's not the same. And all people need help. And I'm looking at people that are struggling and they're being held back and held down, because of the color of their skin. But like I say, I'm here for all people. All people. I'm a healthcare provider. I'm here for all people. But I've always said it's not left and right, it's top and bottom. And people are struggling in this district and
I'm
all
just going
around.
to tell you. I mean, I'm an elected official and I represent everybody.
Me too.
I don't care what color their skin is. I don't care what their background is, where they came from. I go to Dr. King's statement of, I'm going to
Mhm.
judge you for the content of your soul, the content of you,
I
rather
agree.
than the pigment of your skin color.
I agree.
And whether that's a fault in me or a weakness,
I think we're saying the same thing, sir. All I said was is a little bit different. That's all I'm saying. And those are
I
facts. I'm for everybody. Of course I am. I'm a healthcare provider. I'm for humanity in a sense for everybody. And I don't know why you're belaboring this point. All I'm saying is the black man has a harder time than a white man any day. That's facts. But what I'm saying to you is I'm here for everyone, for sure. And if you think it came across a different way, then I'm saying that there are people here that are struggling more so because of the color of their skin. Absolutely, that's true. And
Are you there, Dr. Combs? Dr. Combs, if you hear me, I think your internet is, I think you're reconnecting. I seem to have lost Dr. Combs. We'll give her a minute and see if she reconnects. I think we've lost the internet connection with her. So I, uh, we'll give her a couple of minutes, and if she comes back on, we will bring her back in. If not, we won't. But interesting show this evening. You guys have heard the interview. You make your own mind up who you're gonna support or not support. Uh, uh, so that's what we got going on here. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and exit the building. Thanks for indulging me this evening in our special Wednesday edition of Speak Your Mind, and we'll go ahead and call it a night. And thank you, guys, and I'll see you guys Wednesday night at 8 p.m. with Attorney General candidate Brian Strickland, and then we will be at 9 o'clock with Dr. Doreen Williams. Thank you and good night.